So I'm going to talk about this video about citations, what exactly is the point from a local, national and international, and adopting two-thirds. So anyway, let's get into citations. So what exactly is a citation? I generally prefer calling it directory sites, but that's again my preference. I just always thought citation was a strange word for it. But if you want to call it citations, then cool, or directory sites I call it. So what exactly is the point of a citation link? Why does Google and other search engines want this, and businesses in general, from an online perspective? Well, basically what it does to them, it tells them that you yourself are a real business. So for example purposes, if you're a joinery firm, having local citations for your area, whether it's your state, whether it's your region, whether it's your country or anything like that, that itself makes sense from a citation perspective. It tells Google and other search engines, this is a local joiner based in, say, for example, purposes in, say, the New York State in America, or for example it's in Scotland or it's in England or somewhere else. It basically lets them know that this is where the business is trying to get customers. So for example, if you're trying to really niche down in your business, you might only want to get links from your region, your area. So in some cases, depending of course where you live, you can actually get very, very specific directory sites. In a sense, it might cover your town, your village, your city in some cases. Not always, but if you can find these sites, it can be quite useful. It gives a really good signal to Google, even if the sites themselves are not the best from an on-page or off-page perspective. Google generally loves these sort of sites if they're very specific, targeted to your niche. That can be kind of cool. So if you can find these, get them as much as you can. Another good example would be something like this. So let's take it extreme, and let's just say you've got a reptile site. If you've got a reptile site, let's just say you can find a reptile citation site or directory site. If you can find it and you can get a link of that, itself is something Google will generally like a lot. So in some cases, depending of course your on page, your off page, and your competitors, in some cases a few of these links itself, if you're in a low enough niche, local generally, you can actually rank for certain keyword and keyword phrases just by getting these sort of rarer links. Because a lot of your competitors won't do them, either simply because they don't understand search engine optimization well, or simply they just never done it for one reason or another. So if you can get these links, it can be a good way to rank your site well in the local niche, the national niche, or international. And if you can get niche route ones, such as an example, I use reptiles. If you can get one in health, in fitness, or something else, that can be really cool. So always look around for your sort of ones, or if you're not doing the sales stuff yourself, then pay someone that can get them for you, and it'll do you quite a lot of good, allowing you to rank more easy. So another thing you have to understand with regard to citations is what exactly is the point of them. That's kind of a thing a lot of people seem to get wrong or miss. So basically it works like this. When you get a citation for connected to your site, you get say 10 citations. It basically sends a signal to Google and says to Google, hey Google, this site itself is trying to rank and say, make it simple, in the Dundee area of Scotland. If you had 10 citations from that area, either Dundee itself or Tayside, I know Tayside's just Dundee, but just for our sake you had 10 of citations of that tells a signal loud and clear to Google, this site itself is wanting to target the Dundee area, which could obviously include Perth as first close by and the surrounding areas. So that tells Google loud and clear, this is a Dundee or Tayside based business. So that will mean, in theory, it's more easy for you to get local clients if you're a plumber, your joiner, your electrician, a lawyer, or anything else. That is why you want the signal sent to it. It basically is like a signal to Google to tell them, hey, this site needs to rank for this area, this niche, that kind of stuff. That's why it's important to get these. Now, how many you get, this of course depends on your niche, depends on the age of your site, it depends on your goals, but as a sort of a simple example I give, which I think is a good way to explain it to someone that's never done it before, or someone that's just not done it in a while. So look at it from a simple perspective. Say you spend a week building a site. You guys to get as good as on page as possible, so make it simple. You got your interlinking done, you've got your content good quality, you got good quality images, it loads fast, it looks good, you've got everything looking good. So you then decide you need to get some citations. You have to obviously do your social channels first, your Facebook, your X, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Pinterest. Social channels are important even if you don't use them much. You will need them later on from a SEO perspective and sales and all the rest of it. So always do that before you do citations, or as much as possible. Once you got your social channels set up, the next step is the citations. So for a new site, I would recommend around 10 to 20. You might say, okay, but I'll have 9. That's fine. Or 8. That's cool. Or if you say I want 21, cool. There's not an issue if you do something which is just a little bit more, a little bit less. It only becomes an issue if you do a colossal amount so quickly. So, for example purposes, if we build a site today and we decide to attach 1,000 backlinks, Google is probably not going to be happy with it. Not always, but it can sometimes put your site in a bad spot. So then it might say, wait, he's trying to spam, so I'll make his site harder to rank for here. Google does do that, so that's why I would always recommend going slow to steady as much as possible. When your first month's passed, you can go a wee bit further. When your next month's passed, go a wee bit further. Next month, go a wee bit further. Just go up steady. So like step 1 is month 1, step 2, month 2, step 3, month 3, and so on. So you just go up a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. But if, for example, purchase, make an example of on your 4th month, for some reason you got a load of extra traffic, say for example 10,000 a month. If that is the case, then you could justify doing more link building, more content, because in theory you can justify to Google, this site itself is making money, this is getting traffic, Google obviously likes it and people like it. That's cool, you can do more things, but again, you have to get to that level before you do it. You can't just jump into it. And that's the best way to explain Citation. So it's a starter link building once your social channels set up, your Facebook, your Instagram, your X, your Pinterest. You can do other things you want to, image sites as well and other things if you want to, but the basics are simply Facebook, X, Instagram, Pinterest. You might think, but I don't need those. You'll need them later on, and that's it basically covered for what exactly citations are in a very simplified way. Anyway, that's all. Thanks. Bye.